Copilot instructions. Just imagine telling GitHub Copilot your coding standards only once, and then every code suggestion automatically follows those standards for your project. So no need to write every time, just repeating like use Bootstrap, use TypeScript, or follow the naming conventions. So in this video, I will show you how to use custom instructions in GitHub Copilot. So the AI understands your project and generates better code automatically. This is one of the most powerful GitHub Copilot features that many developers are not using. So let's dive into it. Welcome back to the GitHub Copilot Mastery series. So far in the previous videos, I have covered GitHub Copilot instructions, prompt files, prompt engineering, and GitHub Copilot chart. Today we are learning custom instructions. Think of custom instructions as permanent guidance for GitHub Copilot. So instead of repeating your requirement every time, you define them once and Copilot remembers them while working in your repository. So what are custom instructions? Let's say you are building a React application. For example, here this is the React application I'm using. So every time you ask Copilot to generate some specific component, so at that time we have to mention like use the TypeScript and use the Bootstrap, and like you have to add error handling. So you want to consider these things. So every time you create the new component, you have to use these things. So instead of using it repeatedly, we can define them in the custom instructions. So after that, Copilot automatically consider them and think of it like onboarding a new developer to your project. So instead of explaining the code standards every day, you document them once. So let me show how we can create these Copilot instructions. So here, this is my project, my app3. In that, I have created this .github folder. In this, we have to create this copilot-instructions.md. So this is the custom instructions file, my project. So these are the standards I want to use my project, like use React functional components, and we have to use the TypeScript. I'm mentioning like use the Bootstrap 5 for the styling, and add the comments wherever necessary, like for methods and classes. It should be handle the error handling. All these things I'm mentioning like. So if I type any prompt, so it automatically consider these standards. Okay. And so what I'm doing is just I want to create some component, like if I want to create some like create login component. Okay, so if I mention like this, here I did not mention anything like, so do I need to use TypeScript or do I need to use that Bootstrap or anything? Automatically it taking the instructions from the Copilot instructions. Okay, so this is the way it is useful. And for example, if you want, you have some Spring Boot project. So for that you want to use some standards. So instead of this is related to this project. So if this project is a Java application or Spring Boot application, you can use a custom instructions file like this one. So I want to use Spring Boot 3, use Lambda, and follow layered architecture. On these things I want to include that. So here just we need to update the Copilot instructions file. So based on that, it generates the code for your Java application. Okay, and for example, if you have some Azure DevOps example, okay, so here you want to use the stories for this Azure DevOps, you can include like description, acceptance criteria, and task and test cases. So whenever you create it, it automatically use this thing by getting from the Copilot instruction. This is the way it is useful for that for your specific project. So what are the main benefits of custom instructions? So first one is the consistency. Every developers receive similar kind of suggestions because we commit these changes for this project. Okay, so if the second user or second employee use this project, automatically these custom instructions apply to that employee also. So based on that, you can get similar kind of suggestions for your project, and less repetition. So no need to repeat again and again with the same for the same prompt, and it generate the better quality. Okay, and it is easy to onboard for the new developers. And for the most commonly developers use some mistakes like too many instructions. So it is better to be concise for this copilot-instructions.md file. It should not be more big, and we have to update this file up to date. We should not use the outdated standards. Okay, and what else? Let me give some tips to use this copilot instructions. First one is create separate instructions for each repository. For example, this is the one repo. So one repo, this project related custom instruction we have to define. If it is Java related, we have to maintain copilot instructions for Java related. If it is a React application, then it is to React application. So each repo we have to use the separate one, and the instructions should be clear and short, not over. And we have to include some architectural pattern, so how your project should be. And also most of the important is we have to include the testing requirements also. And along with the testing, nowadays handling the vulnerability is also important. So we have to include the security standards also in the custom instructions. Okay, so finally remember that one. Prompt engineering helps for individual requests, and these custom instructions help for the entire project. When you combine together, GitHub Copilot becomes dramatically more effective. Thank you. So if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to this channel. And in the next video, I will explain more about the topics related to GitHub Copilot. And also please comment what coding standards would you add to your Copilot instructions file. Thank you.